Thanks for coming out and watching the oxymoronic Reddit Professional Show, where I showcase the best and worst of the internet. Here I comment on brilliant and hilarious comment chains regarding dumb shit on the internet for you to enjoy. Make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell button so that you get notifications every time we come up with a new video. Enjoy this week's show.
I'm Bill Gates, co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Ask me anything. If you could give 19-year-old Bill Gates some advice, what would it be? I would explain that smartness is not single-dimensional and not quite as important as I thought it was back then. I would say you might explore the developing world before you get into your 40s. I wasn't very good socially back then, but I am not sure there is advice that would fix that. Maybe I had to be awkward and just grow up. Wow, it's like we're the same person with just 60 billion small differences. Hello, Bill Gates. What is your idea of success? Warren Buffett has always said the measure is whether the people close to you are happy and love you. It is also nice to feel like you made a difference, inventing something or raising kids or helping people in need. Hey Bill. I have a question pertaining to an issue in the US, and it's one that we're all get sick of hearing. Do you think social media, and perhaps the internet in general, has played a role in helping divide this country? Instead of expanding knowledge and obtaining greater understandings of the world, many people seem to use it to seek and spread information, including false information, confirming their existing biases and beliefs, and converse and interact only with others who share their worldview. These are things I'm guilty of doing myself. Follow-up Q: what steps should we take to help bridge this social, cultural, economic, educational, and regional divide? This is a great question. I felt sure that allowing anyone to publish information and making it easy to find would enhance democracy and the overall quality of political debate. However, the partitioning you talk about, which started on cable TV and might be even stronger in the digital world, is a concern. We all need to think about how to avoid this problem. It would seem strange to have to force people to look at ideas they disagree with, so that probably isn't the solution. We don't want to get to where American politics partitions people into isolated groups. I am interested in anyone's suggestion on how we avoid this. You're going to have to change the culture, I think. Right now people think of politics like a football team, and that is dangerous. What kind of technological advancement do you wish to see in your lifetime? The big milestone is when computers can read and understand information like humans do. There is a lot of work going on in this field: Google, Microsoft, Facebook, academia. Right now computers don't know how to represent knowledge, so they can't read a textbook and pass a test. Another whole area is vaccines. We need a vaccine for HIV, malaria, and TB, and I hope we have them in the next 10 to 15 years. Just wanted to reply to say that I love you, Bill. Thanks. What are the limits of money when it comes to philanthropy? Philanthropy is small as a part of the overall economy, so it can't do things like fund health care or education for everyone. Government and the private sector are the big players, so philanthropy has to be more innovative and fund pilot programs to help the other sectors. A good example is funding new medicines or charter schools where non-obvious approaches might provide the best solution. One thing that is a challenge for our foundation is that poor countries often have weak governance, small budgets, and the people in the ministries don't have much training. This makes it harder to get things done. If we had more money, we could do more good things. Even though we are the biggest foundation, we are still resource limited. Okay, Mr. Gates, what's a typical Bill sandwich consist of? I'm talking breads, meats, cheeses, condiments. If you could only have one sandwich on earth, what would it be? Cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger. What do you think about universal basic income? Over time, countries will be rich enough to do this. However, we still have a lot of work that should be done: helping older people, helping kids with special needs, having more adults helping in education. Even the US isn't rich enough to allow people not to work. Someday we will be, but until then, things like the earned income tax credit will help increase the demand for labor. Do you ever disguise yourself and just walk around incognito? I sometimes wear a hat. For example, when I did college tours with my son, I wanted the focus to be totally on him. A lot less people recognize me when I have a hat on, or else they realize I am trying to be incognito. Mostly when people do recognize me, they are super nice, so I don't feel it is a burden to be noticed most of the time. What do you personally find as your greatest achievement? Although the foundation work is super promising and will be the biggest thing over the decades ahead, I still think the chance to be part of the software revolution empowering people was the biggest thing I have gotten to do. Right now I am very focused on making sure we successfully eradicate polio. That will be amazing if we do it, as good as shipping even the best software product. In your talk at Columbia University last month, You and Warren Buffett both emphasized the importance of curiosity as a personal quality. Do you believe curiosity is a trait that is naturally inherited or a trait that can be cultivated and strengthened? If the latter, what methods would you recommend for people to develop and stimulate their own curiosity? Good question. I think having parents and teachers reinforce your curiosity and explain what they are fascinated with makes a big difference. A lot of people lose their curiosity as they get older, which is a shame. One thing that helps nowadays is that if you get confused about something, it is easier than ever to find an article or video to make things clear. What do you think is the most pressing issue that we could feasibly solve in the next 10 years? A lot of people feel a sense of isolation. I still wonder if digital tools can help people find opportunities to get together with others, not Tinder but more like adults who want to mentor kids or hang out with each other. It is great that kids go off and pursue opportunities, but when you get communities where the economy is weak and a lot of young people have left, then something should be done to help. If you could create a new IP in business with Elon Musk, what would you make happen? We need clean, reliable, cheap energy, which we don't have. It is too bad the sun doesn't shine all the time and the wind doesn't blow all the time. The Economist had a good piece on this week. So we need some invention, perhaps miracle batteries or super safe nuclear or making sun into gasoline directly. Hi Mr. Gates. Thanks for doing this AMA. You are doing a lot of work eradicating diseases like polio. In fact, you've said that the diseases malaria and polio could be eradicated within the next 15 years, with polio gone as soon as 2019. I'd like to know which other deadly diseases that you think could be either 100% curable affordably or gone completely by 2050. And one more thing, you have said previously that you think AI can pose a serious threat to humanity. I'd like to ask, apart from a kill switch, which other precautionary measures we could take to ensure that AI behaves well and doesn't wipe us out? Thanks a lot, Mr. Gates. One thing to make sure the people who create the first strong AI have the right values, and ideally that it isn't just one group way out in front of others. I am glad to see this question being discussed. Google and others are taking it seriously. Why do you think our healthcare systems have such a hard time leveraging the revolutionary changes in scalability that we've seen in software? Amazon is able to predict what we want, often before we realize we want it, but healthcare systems struggle to even schedule routine appointments and labs. Having worked on both the healthcare and tech sides, I think people underestimate just how big the differences are between the two fields, but I have a hard time saying who needs to bend more for us to reach a happy compromise. Also, any idea on what we as concerned patients and family members can help to encourage this compromise? I just feel like we're so close to using technology to improve efficiency and thus increase accessibility to care. Thanks for your time. It is super important to improve our healthcare system, both to reduce chronic disease, but if we don't do better, health costs will squeeze out spending on all other government functions. I agree, it is surprising how tough it has been to get digital medical records right and to learn from looking at those records. Still, there are some very promising things going on. For example, the idea of looking at a blood sample to find cancer very early so it can be treated. We will be able to use genomic data to tune treatments. There are a few big problems like diabetes, obesity, and neurological conditions including Alzheimer's that we really need to solve. Hi Bill. I'm going to become a father this summer. Do you have any advice you wouldn't mind sharing, from one dad to a dad-to-be? I just went on a trip with my 17-year-old son to see 6 colleges. He is a junior in high school and trying to figure out where he should go. Trips like that have been a great way to spend time together. He reads even more about politics than I do, so I let him pick books for me to read. Melinda is very creative about helping me find chances to spend time with the kids. Even just driving them to school is a great time to talk to them. Did you copy Steve Jobs or did he copy you? The main copying that went on relative to Steve and me is that we both benefited from the work that Xerox PARC did in creating graphical interface. It wasn't just them, but they did the best work. Steve hired Bob Belleville. I hired Charles Simonyi. We didn't violate any IP rights Xerox had, but their work showed the way that led to the Mac and Windows.
If you enjoyed this week's effective way to waste time, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you are enjoying the series, leave me a comment below. A special shout out to the content creators. You frickin' rock.